Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Keller. I am a PhD student and I work to laboratory leave in University of Strasbourg, and I am pleased to present this video. So in this video I will present to you the work of my team in the leave about geohistory and geoarchaeology study to better understand lynchet construction and lynchet landscape history. So at this moment, your first question probably is what is it, a lynchet? So a lynchet is a kind of bank on the slope, but unlike terraces, lynchets do not result from a voluntary action like construction, but from the accumulation of soil behind an obstacle, like spontaneous age, as you can see on these pictures, and sometimes it can be behind stones. And as you can see on these satellite pictures, a lot of lynchets represented by the age, just here, like this. And on this picture, the ground situation, you can see a lynchet with stones removal, just here. And on these pictures, you can see a plot, just here, between two lynchets, here and here. So now you know what is a lynchet, but you don't know how a lynchet is formed and why it's interesting to study. Basically, a lynchet is a result of 3 steps. The first step is to forest clearing by slash and burns, as you can see here. The second step is the cultivation, and the third step is the sediment accumulation by tillage erosion and runoff erosion behind a spontaneous age, for example. So this accumulation is a function of time, which can be long, and more the lynchet stay functional, more the pedosedimentary records is important. These records allows us to determine the landscape history. Maybe you are understanding the problematic of this study is to date the lynchet system, because as you can see on this picture, it's not an isolated lynchet, but there is several lynchets which constitute a parcel system. So as you can see on the slide, we want to know when territories are cultivating on under forest or under forest. As you can see on this picture, it's like a cycle. The first farmer burned the forest by slash and burn, as I said, in order to cultivating the area, and after a long time and after some disturbance or disaster, like war, disease, economic collapse, there is a reforestation, as you can see. And sometimes after a long period or not, it depends, there is a new farmer which burned the forest, and so on, until abandonment. And it's here that beginning our job, that it's my team, in order to determine this cycle and understanding the temporal trajectory of territories. So to date this lynchet system, we use a methodology very simple. So as you can see on this slide, the methodology to determine the lynchet system is as follows. So we use the LIDAR, it's a light detection and ranging, it's like basically like a sonar. We produce a DEM, a digital elevation model, and with the DEM we can detect and identify a lynchet systems, as you can see in this picture. So after that we choose a shape, just here, and we make a trench or a pit, it depends, and we collect samplings that we call pedological archives, because the soil conserves the past data like charcoal or organic matter, and then we identify here, as you can see on this picture, the charcoals, and we make some dating. Very simple, isn't it? So for example, here is the lynchet in Obergelbe. As you can see on the map, there is a lot of lynchets just here, representing by the red line. So we choose a lynchet under forest in order to make a trench and extract some sampling, as you can see here, in order to determine organic matter origin with nears, and we extracted charcoals for identification, as I said, and dating. All this analyzed to determine the cultivation period. Besides, we combine this data with geographical and historical analysis to determine the recent soil occupation. So, at this moment, we have analyzed 3 lynchets, and our study takes place in 3 locations, 2 in Moselle department at Arjan and Obergelbe. These 2 sites made up of small, gently sloping hills with an altitude of almost 400 meters. The region is mostly composed by limestone bedrocks, and the last site is located in l'Haut-Rhin department at Lebanon. The site is in the South Vosges mountain at 800 meters. The mountain is globally composed by granite bedrock. So in this slide, on the 2 next slide, I will present to you the result of our research. So the first site is located in the community of Obergelbe, as you can see on this slide. And after identifying the charcoals, we have dated 8 charcoals, and we can determine 4 fire periods from the Iron Age to the Middle Ages. So as you can see on the table, just here, you can see 4 charcoals with the same period during the early Middle Age. So what is interesting of this site in Obergelbe, it's the comparative analysis between the anthropological and historical data seems to correspond. So in fact, the archaeological site of Bilsbrück-Rheinheim, close to Obergelbe at 4 kilometers, is occupied since the 5th century BC. Then the village declined in the 5th century AD. So the NIRS analysis also confirmed this trend as the site appears to be in grassland for a long period. So it's very interesting. So the next site is in Arjan, and in Arjan we date in fact 5 charcoals in the 3 soil origins using the same methodology as in Obergelbe, and all 5 charcoals are from the modern period. So the problematic with these data, it's because the geohistorical and archaeological and NIRS data do not seem to correspond with the clearing phase. Indeed, the site was on grassland in the mid-19th century, which is confirmed by the NIRS analysis. So the site should be older. The situation at Lebanon is little more complicated. We date 5 charcoals as in Arjan with the same methodology, but we could not collect in this origin, as you can see on this picture just here, because of the density of the stones. And the dates go from Mesolithic to modern period. As you can see, we have a big time gap just here, as you can see on this table. The 2 Mesolithic charcoals just here and here were not collected from the same origin. One here in this origin, and the other one, it's this origin. For the other dates, we have 2 charcoal that to the modern period, as you can see on this table, that may correspond to forest clearing. The historical data from Lebanon shows that the village was probably destroyed during the 30 Years' War, and that the site was under forest in the middle 19th century. So in this site, we have a complex situation. So to conclude, In Obergelbe, we think that the formation of the lynchet probably started after the 7th century. In Lebanon, the period of forest clearance cannot be post 13 Years' War. Indeed, the site probably remained under forest. Perhaps this forest clearing is post 100 Years' War. Perhaps. So the formation of the lynchet will probably start before the 19th century. The dating allowed us to confirm that the S2 origin corresponded to a periglacial formation. That is very interesting for us. In Arjan, we believe that the lynchet is at least medieval because the soil is clayey and require a plough to cultivate such large fields. From a methodological point of view, the dating of charcoal at Arjan raises questions because they do not seem to be consistent. So are they polluted charcoal, soil improvers, or branches from the pruning of the age? That is the question actually. So to conclude this presentation, I would like to talk about the perspectives which will allow to determine the temporal trajectory of the site in Arjan and Lebanon. We would like to date more charcoals, but with an imperial selection. In Arjan, as I said, the soil profile of the bank seems to be disturbed, so date charcoals in an other soil profile. In Lebanon, we think date just in the AA and the S1 origins. And for the last strategy, methodological, we want to evaluate the near signal mean age in order to compare with charcoal's dating. So that's all. Thank you for your attention.